Hey ladies, today is Friday, November 22nd, 2019. I am 19 weeks postpartum. Baby Michaela is 4 months, 4.5 months. I can't believe how big she's gotten so quickly. It makes me very sad that I don't have my little crunched up, she's sitting in my lap, my little crunched up tiny little newborn anymore. She's getting big and has a lot of personality. And yeah, so it works for now because she's a baby, but when she gets old enough to understand, no. I'm already been telling her no because old girl can, like, she's like, grabbing everything and putting everything, and if I'm holding her up and I have my glasses on, she's grabbing onto them and trying to pull them off, and she has pulled them off quite a few times, and anything within her and her distance, her arm like her arm reach, she is grabbing, and she's twisting and turning in my lap. She is grabbing and she is pulling. So yeah. So we're at a stage now where you have to keep things out of reach that are dangerous, and it happens so quickly. Like, I gave birth yesterday, I feel like, and here I am with this person who's more and more every day less like a little lump and more like a person. Like, she is a person and she knows what she wants a little too much. So at 4 months, we hit a 4-month sleep regression, which is common. Michaela used to sleep great. I never was getting up all night with her. She slept through the night. Even when she wasn't supposed to sleep through the night, she was a great sleeper early on. She slept in her bassinet great. She's always been a good sleeper up until recently. And then around the beginning of her 4th month, things started to change where she became extra clingy. I say clingy, but she wouldn't sleep in her bed. She started to refuse to sleep in her bed. And it got to the point that we ended up co-sleeping, which I did not ever feel comfortable with. And before, when I was pregnant, I was like, I won't go sleep. But I'll tell you this, you have a lot of ideas and ideals when you are pregnant. And once you have that baby, things start to change. And sometimes you're like, I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to do that, or I'm going to whatever. And then you're like, what? Especially if it's your first, For me, if you've done this before, maybe that doesn't happen. But for me, first time around, I had all these ideas on things and how it would be. And then baby came and was like, listen, this is how it is. And so we were co-sleeping, and I'm really not comfortable with co-sleeping, not only because it's dangerous, although it can be done safely. I just I sleep better separate from her. She sleeps better, or she was sleeping better with me, but I never could really get comfortable because I know she's in the bed, so you have to sleep a different way. You have to keep the covers and pillows away from the baby. I mean, in many cultures, co-sleeping is very common. It's very, very common and encouraged. There are even parenting styles, attachment parenting, where co-sleeping is encouraged, and it's cool to some extent because I love the cuddling and snuggling with her, but I also couldn't get the rest that I needed, and that was one of my biggest issues. Even if it could be done safely, I felt like I wasn't necessarily getting the rest that I needed with her in the bed, and nor was my husband. And because what happens is that normally towards the early morning hours, 1-2 o'clock in the morning, she would wake up kicking or turning over and kicking. And actually, if you put your baby in their own bed and you watch them during the night, they usually at this age will move quite a bit. When she was younger and she was in the bassinet, she didn't really move. So that's why she just slept, like a rock, and it's fine. But at this age, babies move quite a bit in their beds, and they turn, and so she turns sideways, she flips on her stomach, she's her back to her stomach to her back, sideways, all types of stuff. And when she's in the bed with you, it's like, and you have to give her like this buffer of space. Thank God we have a queen size bed. I'm sorry, a king size bed, because if we had a smaller bed, maybe even a queen size bed, I don't know how you do it, because we had to have like this zone of space around her for her to move. And she always rolls closer to me, and she's kicking or groaning or grunting or moving around and all this, and I'm not sleeping. And so normally when she would do that, I would wake up and nurse her, and that would help calm her back down, and she'd usually fall back to sleep pretty soundly for a little while. But then she'd be up again in another hour to 2 hours doing the same thing. And when I say up, she wasn't really up, she just wasn't sleeping as soundly. She was kind of in a sleep-ish type stage. Sorry. So that's that. I'm trying to distract her. We have like little toys. This is Bowden. He is a Lamaze toy. I actually think he's crap. He barks. She likes it, but I was like, that is no barking dog I've ever heard, but she likes it. And she can laugh now. She started laughing like a month ago, but like a giggle, like, maybe even over a month ago, she's giggles, and she still does that. So I know they say around 4 months they start to laugh. I don't know if it changes or if this is the giggling, because she's been giggling for a while, but yeah. But yeah, so so there's that. So just trying to deal with sleeping. So, I've always been against crying it out. I don't like to let her cry at all. I know I'm bad, and she may be spoiled, if that's even a thing for an infant, but because newborns, you're not supposed to be able to spoil. I think they're not even supposed to be able to be spoiled until they're like 6 months. So maybe she's going to end up spoiled when ultimately anyway, but I don't know if she's spoiled yet. But she is a mommy's girl. She's always on me. She needs to be with me. And I'm nervous about what happens when I go back to work, because I am starting a nanny, and I will start her earlier so I can have time to like train her the way I want things to be done, and most importantly for Michaela to get used to her before I go back. But I'm still nervous because Michaela, like yesterday, my husband took the day off of work, and he was with us, and I ran out to go get my eyebrows threaded, and I was gone for about 2 hours. I did some other stuff, a little shop since I was out. I haven't been out without Michaela since maybe the first couple of weeks after she was born, because I had those doctor's appointments for my blood pressure, but I really haven't been out without Michaela since that. And this was the first time in a long time that I've been anywhere without her. And so I went, and I come back, and she had basically been crying not the entire time, but for about an hour. It was her nap time. He wasn't able to put her down for a nap. I will admit, this regression has made it hard. I'm not into crying it out, and he couldn't comfort her, so she ended up crying herself to sleep. She did cry it out. Apparently she cried for like an hour, and then she woke up 30 minutes after I got home, so she didn't even really get a good nap. Her nap was like 30 minutes because she apparently cried until I got home, and then woke up around 30 so minutes after. Now there's a cry it out method. Like I said, I don't really want to do it. It's heartbreaking for me. I hear it gets better. I've heard all the pros for it. I read a lot about it. Sometimes I get frustrated where I'm like, hey, you want to cry? Just cry. I'm be honest. Sometimes I'm like, just cry. You just lay there and cry. Go to sleep, do something, cry. You want to cry? You can cry. But honestly, I'm really not. I don't know how I can do the cry it out method, because I hate the sound of her crying. It triggers something in me. I need to do something. I referred to like attachment parenting earlier. I feel like if I was a stay-at-home mom, I would go so hard for attachment parenting, because it's the style of parenting I probably would do the most, where it's about, responding to their needs and comforting and being more, some parents think they need to be more independent and to try to push them out and be like, I'm not going to hold them, or I'm not going to do things. And each parent has their own parenting style, and that's fine. But I'm more of a cuddly, like, I don't want my baby to feel pain, because, it's just something in me where I hear her cry. I'm just like, I need to respond, and I'm okay with responding. But because I'm not stay at home, I know that there's going to be someone else who's going to take care of her, and that person's not going to love her, unfortunately, because they're not, no one's ever going to love her like I love her. No one. But I really wish I had maybe a family member. Maybe they could do it. But I hear even sometimes family members don't do it the way you want it to be done. So using a third party is like, I know that person's not going to love her the way, or care about her. Or even, maybe eventually they'll care about her. But, they're not going to respond to her cries the way that I respond, because I almost have to. It's almost like in me, when I hear her crying a lot, like especially when she starts screaming, that I'm like, no, I have to, what's wrong? No, baby, I have to help you. So I don't really know how we're going to do that, because right now, Michaela won't nap unless she's being held. It wasn't always like this. It wasn't, I used to be able to put her down in her bassinet, but I think the transition, she started to roll around too much, and we tried to transition her from bassinet to the big bed. And then I went back to the bassinet because I know that she rolled less in that, but you're not supposed to use bassinet once they can roll. But she was supposed to be able to use it up to 15 pounds. She's still not 15 pounds. She's 14 pounds. Well, actually, her 4-month visit, she was 13 pounds, 12 ounces. So I'm just guessing that was a week ago. I'm just guessing she's 14 pounds. She might not be, but she's around it. And so the bassinet said she could stay in it until she was 15 pounds. However, it said, but if they start rolling and stuff or pushing up on their hands and knees, you have to take them out. So I transitioned her from that to the big bed, and then the big bed, she was doing this crazy rolling thing where her head was all twisted, and I was just like, I can't. Like, I was staying up all night flipping her back over, because she was rolling, but she was rolling on her stomach, but she couldn't roll back to her back at that point. And so I was really nervous. Now she can, but I was really nervous, and it was kind of early for her to be rolling. And so then I put her back in the bassinet, although she could roll a little bit, but she didn't roll as much. And she was still sleeping well. And then she was starting to roll more, and I realized, and she was also getting big for the bassinet lengthwise. Even if her weight wasn't there, her length, she was starting to get long. And then I said, okay, well, let's go back to the big bed. And then we went back to the big bed, and all of this is in my bedroom. She has never slept in her own room. I don't know when she's going to ever sleep in her own room, because quite frankly, I love having her in my room. I know other people prefer to have their babies in a separate room, but I feel a lot more peace of mind with her in my room. Not in my bed, but in my room. It's a difference. Like, I want her in my room. I don't want her in my bed. And so then I transitioned her back to the big bed, and she was just starting to get used to that. And then we hit up 4 months, and it all went to, And so then, now with naps, is like, I'm holding her almost like I'm held hostage. The second I put her down, the eyes pop open. Like, it's like she's knocked out. She's sometimes snoring. She's deep in sleep. The second you put her down, ooh, and I'm like, no, girl, no. Like, I need to do things. This is the only time I got. It's like, between naps and putting you down for the evening, is the only time I have. Michaela has no chill. Some babies chill, I hear, I don't know, where you can put them in a swing or a bouncer or lay them on their play mat and they'll play. That is not Michaela. She does not like her 4-mom swing. I spent a lot of money on that swing. She does not like that swing. My friend bought her a bouncer. She does not like that bouncer. She has a play mat. She could care less about that play mat. You know, like she is, mommy, where are you? Mommy, do something with me. Mommy, I need you to hold me. I need to be on your lap. I need to be playing with you. You need to be playing with me. Like, it's, you know, that's like right now she's chilling, but she's in my lap. I can't, like, you know, put her in a swinging and for, you know, 20 minutes and roll. So I get enough tears during the day when I try to do things. So I really don't want her to cry a lot. And it makes me feel bad. I know I probably shouldn't, but I feel bad. So I started saying I was going to sleep train her. I did not want to do cry it out. I was trying to look for other methods. I met a mom on the Peanut app, and I'll have to talk more about that app later, but I recommend it to everyone, whether you have a village or support system or not. The Peanut app is pretty great for just meeting moms in your area and socializing, but I'll probably talk about that in a different video. But yeah, so I met a mom on the Peanut app who sent me a sleep program that she actually paid for I think it's for like 3 to 12 months. It's like Little Sleep I forget the name of the program, and I tried it. It's a very scheduled day. It's a very scheduled, and it's supposed to be like not doing cry it out, but it's a very scheduled day. Like you wake them up at 7, they eat. If they, you know, you can do it earlier, but let's just say hypothetically 7 a.m. the baby eats, you know, the baby's up for roughly 2 hours. And that's at her age, 2 hours is about the max that she can be up. She actually sometimes gets sleepy about an hour and 45. So hour 45, 2 hours. They say no longer than 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I think that's even closer to 6 months, because I was doing the 4 to 6 month portion of it. And so like roughly 2 hours is where she needs to nap after being awake. And the first nap would have been at around 9:15. If you wake up at 7, and then it was only supposed to be a 45-minute nap. So that takes you, like if you do 9:15, that takes you to 10 o'clock. Then you're supposed to wake the baby up at 10 o'clock. At that point, it's time to eat again. So you eat, you know, you do whatever. Then if you wake up at 10, the next nap was supposed to be at 12. Then they were supposed to sleep from 12 to 2. And then, you know, and then you wake up at 2. You know, you feed throughout this. You're supposed to do actually, I think before the 12 to 2 nap, you're supposed to feed them again. And then, you're supposed to feed them again. Hey, look at Bowden. Supposed to feed them again, and then you know, then they wake up at 2, and at some point they eat again somewhere in there, and they they're going to be sleepy again around 4. I think then they took a 10 to 15 minute nap, and I just couldn't figure out how to keep her on this nap schedule. Yes, she gets sleepy every 2 hours, but how do you make a child sleep for 2 hours? Or if you wake them up at 45 minutes and she's still sleepy, sometimes I get the crankiness. And I guess ultimately over time, it would take time for her body to adjust to this sleeping schedule and the napping schedule, because they claim the naps were like really important to like ultimately what your night was going to be like. And that's probably true, because taking their schedule aside, you probably realize if your baby doesn't nap well during the day, the night might not go as well. And then if the baby's overtired, it's also hard to put an overtired baby down, or if the baby's undertired. So it's a lot to it. And the program talks about different troubleshooting, like if the baby doesn't sleep for the 2 hours, or if the baby wakes up before the 45 minutes, or, you know, it had a lot of different troubleshooting tips and catnapping and different ways to fix things. But it was a really hard schedule to stick with, and I was always finding myself off the schedule. But you really need to stick with the schedule. Yeah. So, and then ultimately, the for waking up at 7 a.m., the bedtime will be 7 p.m., and you would start the child's sleep routine. Very important to have a sleep routine according to this. You would start the sleep routine at 7 I mean, I'm sorry, at 6 p.m. So it was about an hour long sleep routine. They did a bath, and I think their sample routine was like a bath and then a massage. It's like a bath from like 6 to 6:10, and then like a massage with oil, like with like coconut oil or something. And then they'd read a book. Then they'd feed the baby, and then they'd sing a song, and then cuddle the baby, and then put the baby in bed. Now the baby's supposed to go to bed awake but drowsy, and that's so they can self-soothe and so they can put themselves to sleep. So you shouldn't be rocking them to sleep. I rock Michaela to sleep for every nap and every bedtime so far. So that's what they wanted. You put them down awake but drowsy, and then the fun begins. So if the day wasn't fun enough, then at that point, what you would do is that when the baby ultimately starts crying, you wait 6 minutes, then you go in and comfort them in the way that is best for you. Now, whether that is, it had different options. It was like patting them, or stroking them and talking to them, or one of the options they had was actually rocking them until they were calm and then putting them back down. So that was an option. I think it's not the preferred option, but that it was an option. The option was to talk to them, different methods to calm them down after 6 minutes. And then you start over, essentially. You put them back down and start crying again. You do it again. And then, and then eventually, baby was supposed to learn that how to self-soothe and to go to bed and independent of you and all of that. I failed. I failed at that. I haven't started that back up. What I have done was kind of making up my own thing, but I don't know how well it's working. For the last 2 nights, on Wednesday night, I did my sleep routine. Our sleep routine does not include a bath because I do not bathe Michaela every night. She gets a bath about 3 times a week, sometimes 2 times, but usually 3 times a week. She has eczema. It's actually not recommended to bathe infants or I think children under a year every day. I know people do it for the nighttime routine, but it's not really recommended to bathe them every day. It dries their skin out, and Michaela has eczema, and I have eczema, so I do know that too much can dry out your skin, and so I definitely don't bathe her every day. But when I do bathe her, that's just an added thing. It's not really her sleep routine. Is the beginning of is like a beginning step, because her sleep routine starts with the rub down. I do rub her down with not with coconut oil or oil. I do a massage, but it's with Aveeno's eczema balm. I think I told you guys about it. I bought it, and I was rubbing her down with like Aveeno lotion anyway, but now I'm using the eczema balm to rub her down, and so I'll do that. So that's what I would do when she gets out of a bath anyway. So it's kind of just like, that step without the bath, and then when she does get a bath, that's still added. That step is still there, so it doesn't matter. And so I would do that, and then that with a diaper change, of course, and then I kind of, read her a book, and we say her prayers, and sometimes we'll play some music for a little while, and I feed her. Now, I didn't want feeding her to be the last step, because they also say you're not supposed to do that, because then the baby starts to associate they can't go to sleep without feeding. You don't want them to associate feedings with sleep. Lots of rules. Who sleep trained me? I guarantee you my mom didn't sleep train me at all. Okay? I learned to sleep. So why can't she learn to sleep without this stuff? But I don't know. But yeah, so there was that. That's basically our routine. Someone told me to get a sleep sack. We don't currently have a sleep sack, but I found it was another recommendation I saw on Peanut for what's it called? Zippadoo. zippity zip sleep sack, something like that. I think is zippity zip zip some sort of zip sleep sack that they were recommending online on Peanut, that I might get and try it out with her, because we don't currently have a sleep sack. She goes to sleep in her pajamas, so maybe a sleep sack would help. But what I've been doing is just doing her nighttime routine the way I would do it. I also have a phrase. This is another suggestion that say they suggest you either say the same phrase or same sound, or play the same song, or whatever you're going to do every night to signal to the baby that it is time to go to sleep. So I tell her every night that she's safe, she's loved, and that she can go to sleep. That is my my sleep phrase that I say to her. I say it at naps. I don't know. I don't know if she's recognizing it yet. I do say it. I also shush. We play a lot of white noise. White noise is highly recommended. I use my Amazon Echo for that, but I double team it. Sometimes I also have a white noise machine that sometimes I put right next to, because the Echo is not plugged up next to her bed, but sometimes I'll put the this white noise machine right up next to her bed, and it's like right there, because it's white noise is supposed to be good because it helps drown out any background household noises that could wake the baby up. It's also supposed to remind them of the womb, and apparently in the womb it's very noisy and it sounds like shh, I guess, lots of white noise, and so it's supposed to remind them of the womb. So and white noise is recommended up until like a year, I think. So it's also recommended that the room, she's getting fussy, so I'm going to have to stop in a second. But it's also recommended that the room, sorry, I'm looking for another toy that I maybe distract her for a little while. Freddy, our firefly, Freddy. It's recommended that you try to make the room as dark as possible. When I squeeze this thing, Freddie has this little, now she's pulling it back down. And when I squeeze it, my dogs always respond to it. Yeah, play with Freddie. My dogs want this toy. If they ever get their hands on this toy or their paws on this toy, it'll be destroyed in their toy. But yeah, so there's it's recommended that the room is completely dark. Like they even say to the point you get blackout curtains. I haven't done that. I haven't got any blackout curtains. You can actually see the blinds behind me that are in my bedroom. My bed's in front of it. My bed, I have a sleep number bed. I don't know if any of you have a sleep number bed. It's the heaviest bed in the world. It weighs like I don't know. It takes 2 people to even move it. So to try to move our bed to take these blinds down, to put blackout, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. I'm just winging it. So what I have been doing is using the white noise. I try to make it as dark as possible. I still rock her to sleep. I know I'm probably wrong. I put her in her bed. This has worked for me the last 2 nights. Worked better the first night than the second night. So that's a regression. I actually think it's supposed to have gotten better, but we'll see. Tonight will be night 3, so we'll see how that goes. What I've been doing, God bless you, baby. What I've been doing is rocking her, putting her to sleep, putting her in her bed. The first night I did it Wednesday night. I put her in her bed. I rocked her to sleep. I put her in her bed after her sleep routine, and she slept. I didn't do anything else. She slept. It was no magic to it. I had a lot of white noise on, and the room was dark, and she slept. She slept like 10, 11 hours. Entire night. No peeps, no nothing. I do miss that by doing it that way. I'm not nursing in the middle of the night. So I kind of did like nursing in the middle of the night, but I probably like sleep more than nursing in the middle of the night. And then, but it didn't work as well on Thursday night. So I did the same routine Thursday night. And what happened was I put her in her bed, rocked her to sleep, put her in her bed. 10 minutes later, she was up. I put her back to sleep. I got her up, rocked her. She started to whine and cry. I was waiting for her because I was thinking maybe she would put herself back to sleep, but she didn't. And so I got her up, waited for her to start crying just a little bit, and I picked her up, started our sleep thing again. She fell back to sleep. I put her, and it took a little while to get her back to sleep. I put her in her bed. 5 minutes later, all right. No, okay. No, let me finish. Okay. I put her back to sleep, and 5 minutes later, she was back up. And I kept doing this. What are you calling? You okay? Babies. She's just not happy right now. But I kept doing this over and over, rocking her to sleep, putting her back in her bed. And I did it until about 2 o'clock in the morning, at which point she finally went to sleep and slept in her bed for about 6 hours. So I consider that a win, but that is what I had to do. That is what I did. I didn't want her to cry a lot. It was minimal tears. I kept rocking her to sleep. I kept putting her in bed. I rocking her to sleep. I put her to bed. I rock her to sleep. I put her in bed. I rock her to sleep. The thing is, rocking her to sleep takes time. Put her in her bed. Rock her to sleep. Put her in bed. Rock her to sleep. Put her in bed. And it worked. I actually only had to do it like 3 times, so I exaggerated how many times I had to do it, but it worked. But I spent a lot of time rocking her to sleep, because it's not like rock, she's asleep. Like sometimes it takes 30 minutes. So yeah, and then or a little longer, and then after all that, as if you don't catch them at the right time. If they get overtired, which she was, it takes longer. If you catch them during their peak perfect tired amount, it doesn't take that long. But like if she's overtired or undertired, it's going to take, it's going to take longer, and she fights it. She twists and starts whining and stuff. And then, so I'm going to try again tonight, but I'm not sure what to do with naps. Like, every time I try to put her in her bed for a nap, she's up, and then she doesn't get a good nap, and then we're dealing with a fussy day, which is what happened today. Every time I try to put her down, I'd hold her, I'd rock her to sleep, I'd hold her for like 20, 30 minutes. Second I put her down, she's up. So we didn't really get good naps today, which is why we're dealing with the fussy fuss. But I'm going to try my method a few more nights. It's going to get messed up because I'm going to my parents for Thanksgiving, and I won't be able to do the same method as much. So it will get a little interrupted, but I'm going to try to get back to it. And then I'm looking into the Owlet, OWLET. I know you guys have heard of Owlet, or I'm assuming, because they make the sock that monitors the baby sleep in it, and they make the baby monitor that correlates with the sock and all that. So Owlet has something called the Dream Zone, and it's like $179 right now. I think it's sometimes $199, and it's like a specialized sleep program that they designed for the specific needs of your baby, and they like guarantee better sleep. And if you don't get that, you can get a refund in like 6 weeks. I'm sure there's some fine print to that, but they like guarantee better sleep. So that's another thing I want to look into. But that I'm going to try my free method first, and if that doesn't work, then I think I might have to go to Owlet or something else, because my thing is, once she's with the nanny's probably not going to rock her to sleep ever, even though she probably should, right? I'm paying her good money, but she's probably not going to rock her and hold a baby. I mean, this is her job, but hold her the way that I would. So we'll see. I'm just trying to deal with this now because I want it to be an easier transition for her later. If I was a stay-at-home mom, I'll be honest with you, I probably would never sleep train. I might just deal with it. I might just be like, it is what it is. But all right. I didn't let her whine long enough, ladies. That's what's going on. Next week is Thanksgiving. I'm hoping to be able to, that'll be week 20 for me. I'm hoping to be able to do an update. But I plan to. So let's just say I will do something and let you know how everything's going. I got a fussy girl here like most days, and I will talk to you soon.